Hi everyone, it's Erin, and it's Thursday, September the, 12th, 13th, 14th. And I have a letter here dated the 5th, 2017, a couple days ago. It says, Dear Rudy, I'm working hard all day, every day on legal work. So I haven't had too much time to answer letters from people. And on top of all that, CMU, won't let me write back to everyone. But maybe I'll fight my way on out of here and just be able to see everyone face to face before too long. Karen writes about how the trials of the ranchers have been rigged. She's right, it's pretty obvious these days. The election was rigged against Trump too, but the landslide was so huge that he won anyway. I think the rigged show trials may be being overcome the same way. The judge in Nevada did all she possibly could to rig the trial, and it still didn't work. No army can stop an idea whose time has come, so here we are now. The Murphy family writes from Minnesota to say they just found my case. They told me to take heart and that they are praying for me. They have seen that good, wholesome Christian people are under vicious attack by self-loathing trolls at the DOJ. The feds are using corruption to throw the righteous in prison for being righteous, but it is drawing out good people like the Murphys. I see God stirring the hearts of His people, and I think we are on the verge of better days because of it. When America rides again, it will be because Christian men came out of the glitzy church biz and lived like King David and his band of malefactors in the wilderness. The blessing is there for anyone brave enough to take it. Lisa, the Patriot Grandma, writes about Tom Clancy novels and how they must have a patriot influence. I've not read much fiction in my life, but I know that Steve Puchenik helped Clancy write his book. Puchenik is a Jew who escaped communism and came to America, where he worked for the CIA in psychological operations. From all I can see, he jumped ship when he figured out how the globalists were out to destroy humanity. Now he is doing all he can to warn the world. Listen when I tell you this, I hate the government so much that I hate anyone who doesn't hate them. Ha ha ha. But with that said, we need to welcome with open arms anyone from the government who wants to change their ways and do what's right for humanity. Ursula from Canada sent me a really sweet letter and put $100 on my commissary account. It meant a lot to me. She told me about seeing an owl out her window at night after it killed a rabbit. It reminded me of home. Then I had to wonder if I even had a home anymore. My favorite places in Alaska are not safe to live in without a bear gun. If the feds, through their corruption, have stripped me of my right to be armed, I can't go back to my favorite surfing spot or hot springs or berry batch, and I will be forced to choose to live in this country as a registered slave without even the pretense of dignity and freedom or leave. It's sad, but one bureaucrat like Scrocky can, at his sole discretion, make a man less than human by putting him in bondage. A man from Japan wrote to correct me about some comments I made about soldiers and prisoners being messed up forever. He pointed out many examples of soldiers and political prisoners who survived atrocities and were strong, well-adjusted people on the other side. He's right, and it was encouraging to get a reminder from someone I suspect has seen some atrocities himself. He mentioned Joseph, Paul, John Banyan, and Richard Warmbrand. I actually knew Richard Warmbrand when I was a boy. He spoke with a thick Slavic accent and could not stand for long. I asked my mother why he always had a chair nearby. She explained to me that the government in his country accused him of plotting against it because he believed in God's law, and that they had put him in solitary confinement, chained him in submissive poses for hours and hours, and beaten his feet. I remember him putting his hand on my head and telling me I was blessed, really truly blessed in a deep way. Now I know why. My father was a young and courageous Baptist preacher, and I was his beloved firstborn son. My father took me everywhere with him. I grew up in the loving instruction of a wise father and in the shadow of giants like Richard Warmbrand. This was my blessing. When I was chained and blindfolded and left in submission posture for time without end, I thought of Richard Warmbrand's words, of the durable hope in his voice and in his eyes. Then I thought of my father and my son. Then the pain to my body seemed far away, and in that moment, without time, I was blessed, as once again I stood in Warmbrand's shadow. Batul from Germany writes that she has contacted her government's Human Rights and Refugee Ministry about my case and is hoping to get me recognized and have a safe place for me to go if I need it. Thank you. Blessed again. CMU seems to be holding up mail from Batul, so I don't know if she knows I appreciate what she's doing for me. She keeps asking if it's okay. Yes, yes, yes. Manuela from Switzerland sent pictures of the Swiss Alps, herself, and her favorite assault rifle. All three are breathtaking. Ha ha. Then she told me all about how Swiss militias have kept the country safe and out of wars for hundreds of years. Smart. We should all pay attention. The truth is always the first casualty of war. That's why governments love war. Don from Australia sent me pictures from around his house. A frog in the flowers, a kangaroo in the woods, a river overflowing its banks. Just knowing someone thought of me and went around to take some photos of the little things I haven't seen for so many years was enough to keep my heart from turning to stone. Thank you. I am blessed. You are blessed. We are blessed. Schaeffer Cox.